Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we had the draft and re-sign stage, and we targeted primarily defensemen and goaltending prospects, and we found pretty much a good amount of prospects that will definitely help us out down the road, and I'm very excited to see what our team is looking like going into the season. Obviously, we are still going to probably make a few changes here before we actually get to the season simulation because we almost have too many good players. So, as you can see, like with our forward core right now, basically how I'm seeing this as Michael Misa as the number one center, Lucius would be on the first line right wing, you'd have Stankoven as second line center, Luke Misa as the third line center, and then Goldman is the fourth line center. Kegrodov technically could be a third line left wing, however, there is a little bit of a problem because Wilson has jumped up to an 83. So I'd like to get Wilson in on that third line, kind of exactly where Kegrodov was. So I'm thinking that we're probably going to end up moving out Kegrodov. And we're also going to be making a goaltending change, of course, because we have Gabriel Dag currently qualified. So I think we'll probably end up trading both Dag and Kegrodov to a team. And then obviously Scarlett and King will be our 1-2 punch for next season. Obviously we could bring back Dag for another year because we do have the cap space. But I don't really know if that's something I really want to do in a sense, because then he'd be a pending free agent, I think, going into next season. But obviously we have a very good team on paper, I think, and there's a good chance that we'll obviously be back in the playoffs next year. But there is a bit of a question mark in terms of who's going to be actually on our defensive core as well, for that matter, because of the fact you have like Bishop up to a 78, Ranton is a 78, Scarlett's a 78, and they're all the exact same age. So I don't really know exactly who I would prioritize in like that top six role. So we're going to have some interesting dilemmas. Obviously, we can make some trades at the start of the season, but like our team is just looking very deep in terms of every faucet. Obviously, we're a little bit weak in terms of left wingers, but we do use a lot of these guys as left wingers. Like I think we used, Kegrodov last time as a left winger. We used Irving as a left winger, so we are still a pretty damn deep team. And then we also have some guys in the minors too that are not too bad, like Cam, who's a 77, Lannon, who might be able to make the jump this season, Bickle might be able to make the jump. So there's quite a bit of guys in the system that could end up getting into our NHL team next season as well. But anyways, let's get into trying to trade away Gabriel Dag and also Kegrodov if possible. I didn't get any comments in the last episode, so I'm going to have to go into this completely blind. I think, if I'm not mistaken, after we make this trade, if we get rid of Kegrodov, we're going to need to still sign ourselves a fourth line left winger and a fourth line right wing and maybe a depth center for our team. Something like that. We might not need to actually sign any depth pieces because we got guys in the AHL that we could use, so I might not even try and look at that. But anyways, we need to find a way to get rid of Kegrodov and also get rid of Dag, because Kegrodov, I think, where is he even? He's not even a center, right? No, he is a center. Oh, there he is. He's got still some pretty good value. He's got a 2x2 we just gave him, but we aren't going to be able to find a way to utilize him because, like I said, if we use him as a third line left wing, basically that makes Wilson as a fourth liner as an 83, which doesn't really work for me, considering we just locked him up on a long-term deal, 5 years at 2.6. I'd rather just get rid of Kegrodov so that way Wilson can get more ice time on that third line. And maybe he'll be a top six guy for us eventually down the road too. But let's see what we can get for Kegrodov and also Dag's rights, if possible. Because, yeah, we technically don't need him in a sense. Like, we could use him a little bit longer, but Scarlett and King look decent enough. And then we'd have Grant, and I guess I would have to probably sign Bergfist for the AHL, which I guess I can do, but his overall is very low, so I might not want to do that just yet. And I might just wait on the AHL goaltending situation. But Gabriel Dag and Kegrodov, is there a team that has interest in both of them? Because at the moment, it looks like a lot of teams are interested in Kegrodov. Oh, there's a team that's interested in both the LA Kings, who we have made one big deal with before. That was not Logan O'Connor, what the heck am I saying? Kyle Connor. There you go. That's what I'm trying to think. I don't know why I thought of Logan O'Connor for some reason. But yeah, this definitely would put us way below the cap space at the moment. So we are going to need to find a way to get cap back. That's the only problem with this. We're going to have to sign some people to like contracts to make us cap float. That's where I'm thinking Gabriel Dag for maybe like part of the season next season might actually be beneficial. Like maybe we start King in the AHL for a little bit, let him developing a little bit more, Then we trade away Gabriel Deg maybe at the deadline, so we get some assets back for him. And also our team will be still probably good without him too. But it's kind of a tough decision. I mean, we'd have to find somebody that's like cap whale on their team that we wouldn't really necessarily need. Like, we could find ourselves a depth piece, I guess, or somebody for the fourth line that would take a decent amount of money, or that is making a lot of money. Somebody like somebody like Phillips for the fourth line would be okay. He is a third line scoring forward though, so that doesn't really make sense. None of those other guys do. What about some wingers? Let's see. 82 at 22. We're looking for older dudes. Kevin Fiala's contract would be a good one to take on, but he's an 84, which doesn't really fit a fourth line for sure. Kyle Connor is still there, which is kind of funny. For Hagee is an 83, and doesn't really seem to be any left wingers. Right wing wise, and doesn't really seem to be anybody there either. So I don't know if LA would really make much sense in that way, because I don't think we really need to bring in a defenseman. So we might have to see if there's a different team interested in both of them. Hey, the New York Rangers, okay. Let's see if we can maybe make a deal with the Rangers. Let's see. We're looking for somebody that's like more of a fourth line option that's making a lot of money. Damn, that Jack Quinn contract's looking a little bit rough. Michael Rasmussen has got multiple years, which I don't like. I want somebody on just a rental deal if possible. Geeky has got 2 years. Glass has got him 1 year left, but he's an 87, so that doesn't work. There is this Glass dude too. There's two Glasses on this team. That's kind of funny. Isaac Glass. He's only making 1.455, which is not really enough to kind of warrant a trade. So this might be a little bit tougher than we thought. Wow, San Jose is well below the cap. Well below. I wonder if they're going to be able to sign anybody good, because they even have more cap space than we do. That's kind of nuts. Because most teams should have a good chunk of cap. Let's see. Let's sort by most contract cost. Jack McBain, I mean, Jack McBain's not a bad fourth line option. Did have 20 goals last season in San Jose. Jack McBain's kind of interesting, but he's not making that much, which is interesting. Most of these guys probably won't be because they're way under the cap, but there's Brock Besser, who's an 82, but is he a fourth liner? No, he's like a third line guy. What else we got here? Haltonen. Haltonen would be kind of like that type of guy, but I don't really want to have a sniper on a fourth line. I want more of a defensively minded guy. Like, I am a little bit picky on what we're trading for here. What about St. Louis? See if we can find somebody here. Not really. There is this Martone guy. Oh, what is his name? I've seen him before. Porter Martone. Yeah, I know I've seen him before. Wasn't sure if he was generated at first. Rosen, 80 at 29. Oh, Isaac Rosen. I don't really want a playmaker on the fourth line either. I don't know if we're going to be able to find really any trade that I want. We might just have to trade Kegorov to a team and then trade Dag to somewhere else. That might be the play, because there's not a lot of teams that are interested in both. Vegas. A lot of teams are way below the salary cap right now, which is kind of weird. But then again, it is free agency. Let's see. $9 million for Kuzmenko. He's not a fourth liner, and he's definitely not defensively minded, so I'm not going to bring him in. Right wing wise, not really seeing anybody interesting there either. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a lot. This is not great. We're probably going to have to do separate trades with these guys. So let's start off with Kegorov, because he's going to probably be the easy one to move. And I think it is beneficial for us to move him just to get Wilson that playing time. So let's go to an Eastern Conference team like the Boston Bruins. And I guess we would have to take back like a fourth line bottom six option, if that helps. Let's see. Do they have any fourth line bottom six options? Simon Holmstrom? Simon Holmstrom would be the type of guy for that fourth line. Yeah, he'd basically be taking Wilson's old spot on the fourth line, and Wilson would be taking Kegorov's spot. So we'd take in Holmstrom, and can we get a draft pick involved in this trade as well, like a second round pick? That might be too much to ask for, but we'll try it. So basically we are downgrading a little bit, but we do get ourselves a 4th liner. Wilson gets promoted to the 3rd line where Kagrodov was, and we get a free 2nd round pick as well. Let's see if this works. Rejected. Value is too far off, huh? Kind of surprised on that. What if I gave you guys my 7th round pick? Would that make it a little bit easier? Sweeten the value just a touch. Okay. I guess we're going to try and move up in the draft, basically. So we're going to get rid of like a 6th rounder to move up to the 2nd round, which is decent. So let's see if this works. That's accepted. So there you go. Kagrodov is off to Boston. Yes, it does kind of suck to trade away him. But at the same time, it makes sense for our team. So now we have ourselves Simon Holmstrom, who would be in that 4th line right wing spot. And as I said, Wilson would be on the 3rd line left wing. So that is good. So we've addressed one need. So let me just check off where we are good at. So I think we still need a 4th line left winger, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not, because those guys in the AHL. I don't know if there's really much else we need for offense or defense. So I guess Dag would be kind of a guy that I just want to trade away for picks at this point. I mean, we could see if any team wants to actually send a qualifying offer to him. Anaheim has interest in him. I don't really want to trade him to the Western Conference, though, because we might have to play him. LA is also interested. Looks like a lot of California teams. New Jersey, who just won the Stanley Cup, wants him. Rangers want him. Let's see about the Rangers. Do you guys have your 1st round pick on the block? You do not. That's a lot of value, though. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get their 1st for this year. What about your 1st rounder for next year? I don't know if that still would work, to be honest. I don't know if we're going to get 1st round picks. We might be able to get like 2 2nd round picks for Dag. Yeah, it looks like the going rate is 2 2nd round picks. So let's try this. I know it's a little bit weird, but Gabriel Dag for 2 2nd round picks. I don't think any team's going to actually send compensation towards him. So let's see if we can just offload Dag's contract and get ourselves 2 2nd round picks. The only thing is we're going to be way below the cap now. That's the only problem. And let's make this. Should I make this deal or should I sign Dag and then trade him just to get us to that cap floor? Because I feel like we're way below it. Like, I don't know what the cap floor is at. Does it say the cap floor somewhere? I think people are saying it does in like roster moves, but you don't see that till the start of the season. 27.69. I think there must be a thing that shows how much. What the cap floor is. Does it show in free agent portion at all? No, it doesn't either. I wish I knew exactly how much. There's got to be a way to find out, right? I think it is in the roster move area, which I can't see till now. I think I might honestly sign Gabriel Dag for the year, or for part of the year at least, and then we could trade him when we need to, but it's just more to help us with the cap situation, because I don't think there's anything else I would want out there that would help us get to the cap floor. But if we sign him to the $7 million he's asking for, we're at like $20 million in cap space, which means we should be around the floor, hypothetically. And that way we could have like King maybe play a little tiny bit more in the AHL. He is 20 years old only. So we'd be running King and Grant for the AHL for a little bit. Scarlett would be once again the backup for a bit. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think I'm going to sign Dag for a little bit, and we're going to actually play him for a little bit this upcoming season. And then we can make a decision on where we want to trade him earlier on in the year. Like, we probably aren't going to do a ton of simulation in this episode, so that will be a good way to get our feet wet, so to speak. Okay, so Dag wants a lot of money. 8.475. Yeah, okay, for 1 year he only wants $9 million, and he's an RFA again at the end of the year. I didn't realize that. So I guess we will give him exactly what he's asking for, maybe, just to help us with the cap situation. And since he's a pending RFA, again, we might be able to move him next year at the draft instead, if we don't deal him this season. So we're going to give him what he's asking for. Is there anybody else that's an RFA at the moment? No, there is not. Okay. Let's just see if that helps us get to that cap floor. I don't think I'm going to sign any big name free agents this year. Just doesn't really make sense for our team at this stage. Logan Scarlett for a 3rd and a 4th. No, thank you. I mean, I could do that if I wanted to get King in the lineup, but at the same time, we know that Dag's not really our guy going forward, so let's see. Okay, so Dag has accepted that 1 year extension. Let's hope that that wasn't glitched out and that he's actually a pending free agent. Let me just double check and see about that. So goaltenders, he's an RFA at the end of the year. Perfect. So we could hold on to him this entire season if we really want to, because we know that he's a solid, good regular season guy. But I would like to get King in the lineup too. So we might have to make a decision early on in the season if we want to hold on to him for the entire year or not. But I think our team is going to be pretty solid. Obviously, defense still is a little bit weak compared to where it has been, but I don't mind it. Let's sim up to next season and see what our lines are looking like. And obviously, if we need to make some adjustments before the season starts, we will do that. Otherwise, I am very excited for the season, and I think this team might be one of my best looking teams on paper. Okay, so apparently a big blockbuster trade this offseason. Hronek goes with a second and another second to Montreal for Slavkovsky and a 5th round pick. Damn. So I guess Filip Hronek must have had a good season and his value went up a lot, because I can't see that trade happening in real life, to be honest, unless Slavkovsky never reached his potential, which could have happened. It's going to be exciting to see what Goldman could do for our 4th line, because obviously we drafted him in the last episode and he's a good two-way forward, so hopefully a guy that can take over the center spot that Stankoven has or that Michael Misa has down the road. So okay, I'm going to edit the trading block just because I don't want to keep getting these notifications about trades. I didn't want to go to the trade. I want to go to the trading block so I could adjust it and get rid of all those young guys off the block, because I don't want to move anybody right now. And I don't really want these trade offers, and we're still getting them. This is kind of annoying. Let me take off the surplus and stuff like that as well. And then maybe that will stop it. Hey, I thought I removed that first one. There you go. Now, will I get any trade offers? Yes, I will still. So I guess I have to remove every single thing from this trading block just to not get a single notification. Unless people are just trying to trade for my picks now at this point. There we go. Now we shouldn't get much trade offers till the start of next season, which is good, because I don't want to be interrupted at this portion. Obviously, we could still make trades, but I don't think it's necessary right now. But at the start of the season, it might be. But offloading Kagrodov, I think, is a good one for our team. It also should help the Boston Bruins a bit. I really liked how Kagrodov played in the first round last year, but we need to change that third line a little bit too, so I don't mind the decision to move him. Okay, so let's go to roster moves here and see what we're working with, if who wants to get sent down. So we got Dag and Scarlett. See, King's an 82 and listed as a starting NHL goaltender already, which means, yeah, Gabriel Dag should get moved, but he's also a cap whale on this team, kind of, in a sense. I guess we'll have King down there to start the season, but we'll probably not simulate too much or else he might lose morale. I don't really know. I guess Nordstrom will be back into the AHL for this season. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We don't need 8 defenders in the NHL. So, Bishop is listed as a depth defenseman. He was an offensive guy. I kind of want to get him in the lineup because he's a right-handed D, which means I think the odd man out here might be Rantanen, so I should send Rantanen maybe back down a little bit. But who's going to be the depth defenseman this season? Oh boy, this is a tough one. I guess Bishop would be the depth defenseman because he only has top 6 potential, but it would be nice to get him in the lineup based on those attributes. He's probably going to be our depth defenseman, and we're going to send Rantanen down just because he'll lose morale due to ice time, but he's probably a guy that we'd look to flip away if need be. But basically, it'd be these 3, Vernarski, Scarlett, and Louis Vara. And then, yeah, basically Bishop as the depth defenseman. From a right wing standpoint, Holmstrom dropped down to a 78, which is okay for a 4th line guy. Let me just see if there's anybody to call up. Fairchild, no thank you. Enroth is up to a 79, and Eberle is as well. Oh my goodness. And Lannon's a 78. It would be nice to get Enroth and Eberle into the lineup. They should technically be in the lineup at that overall. I could send down Simon Holmstrom, I guess, technically, who we just brought in. And I could call up... Who do I want to call up? Who's the older of the bunch? They're the same age. 2A forward and sniper. I would probably prefer the 2A forward, in a sense. Let me just go call up both of them, pretend to. Landon will probably get another year in the AHL. Nobody at center to call up, really. And we'd probably send down Cam as well. So let's just go best NHL lines for a second here. Is there anybody scratched that shouldn't be? Louis Vara, oh my goodness. Yeah, we need to still have our depth options up here too, so I guess we will call up Cam again, and we'll call up one other forward. So let's go back to the AHL, so we'll probably call up Holmstrom as a depth option, and we could call up Rafalski actually for that matter. Yeah, I'm going to call up Rafalski instead. Cam might get called up at some point, but not yet. Okay, so let's see what we're looking with NHL-wise. So, we want to put Lucius on the top line. Hellenius is the second line, or Irving is that one. Stankoven right here. We want... do I want Aiden Irving on the top line? Yeah, maybe Irving on the top line instead of Groshek. I don't really know. And then we'd run something like that. Wilson, Jacuzzi, Misa. And it would be Eberle and Enroth playing with Goldman. This is a very good looking forward group. Very good looking forward group. It's nice to see those low leads jump in because both of them were kind of late round picks, so I like to see that a lot. Yeah, it's a very good forward group. And that's exactly why we had to get rid of Kagorodov, because you can see there's not really any home for him on that lineup. From a defensive standpoint, we are going to take Bishop out of the lineup. And we are going to throw Louis Vara in instead. We're going to rework this defensive core a little bit here. It was Louis Vara and Vandermeer, I think, last year we ran. And it was Palin and Kyrou, Bernarski and Scarlett. I don't mind that. It's a pretty good looking defensive core, too. And then Dagan, the other Scarlett. And then we have Rafalski, Holmstrom, and Bishop as depth. Okay, not bad. It actually looks really, really solid. Power play wise, let me just make sure we have the right guys on the power play unit. We should potentially... Yep, that looks good to me. There's probably somebody that shouldn't be on, or isn't on the power play that is, but that looks good. Let me just adjust the AHL here quickly as well. Make sure the right prospects are in the right spots. There's some low leads. Bickle should be a little bit higher in the lineup than Cam at this point. Ranta is 24 already, so I'm going to probably keep him where he is. But he is going to get knocked down for Hurd because Hurd's a little bit younger. Matsumoto is a medium elite, so he's going to go up instead of Cam as well. And then the fourth line has a defenseman playing forward, which is not ideal, but that's okay. We'll keep him down there. Let's split up these two just to get rid of that minus. Looks good. Yeah, the AHL team is really solid too. I would like to really get Stanley King into the NHL this season, but I honestly don't know what we need to do in terms of who we should bring in cap-wise to make us cap compliant, because we could easily run Scarlett and King this season instead of Dag. But we could trade away Dag's rights, so, or his contract, since he still has 1 year of RFA status, which is good. I didn't realize he still had another year of it, but there's our team. And let's go to penalty killers here quickly and just make sure our penalty kills set up well. Goldman on the penalty kill is great. I'd like to see that. Jacuzzi on the penalty kill is good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, our team is ready to go for the season. Let's start simulating a little bit. We're probably only going to simulate till like December the 1st or something like that. So not really much season at all, but just enough to see what this team's doing. And like I said, we could easily trade away Gabriel Dag in next episode, depending on how he plays in this episode. Because who knows, maybe he'll play pretty bad. I don't think he will, though, because this team looks very good in front of him. But we could easily trade him away this season, during the season, or during the draft next year. 7-0 in the preseason. Kind of as expected with this team. Very dominant preseason. Only 2 goals for Misa, but 12 points. So that's nice. And we are the only team that won undefeated in the preseason, probably because we dressed our actual NHL roster. Hopefully that means a good season ahead for our team. Let's go to the start of the regular season. And yeah, like I said, we'll probably only simulate a tiny little bit of the year. Not too much of it. So let's go to the end of October, see how we do in our first 6 games of the season. 7-2, 4-2, 5-4 shootout loss. Not the best defensive effort there, but that's okay. 2-1 win, good defensive effort there. 4-3 win and a 6-2 win. Yeah, our team is completely dominating right now. Like, between the preseason and this, we have not lost a game at all at this point, which is kind of crazy. Let's go to the end of this month. Yeah, I think we're going to just go to like December the 1st or January the 1st. And we'll have to make our decision on probably what we do with Dag. If we want to keep him in the NHL lineup or trade him away. We could probably wait till next episode to trade him, but our team's on a little bit of a fall off right there, but that's okay. It means we're actually still a human team and we're not just going to just dominate every team that we play. But we're having a lot of very good offensive games, which is great to see. And we're going to be 14-4-3 at December the 1st. I think we are going to simulate a tiny bit more. Just because I want to see enough of this team to know what their struggles are and what their good things are. So let's go to the end of December, and then we will make some decisions, obviously, potentially for next episode, or come up with some ideas that we have for the team, as Eberle has been injured in his rookie season. Not great, but at least we have depth, so that's okay. Good to get those guys in the lineup regardless. Hellenius was never injured, but we are on a little bit of a losing streak. Now it just ended. I do not want Philly Heinola back, but I appreciated their St. Louis. I hope Pierce Bishop could get some playing time this season, but at this moment we have not suffered a lot of injuries. Hey, and now look at this. He's going to get some playing time, of course, since I said that. So Christian Kyrou will get replaced by him, which is good because obviously that will give Bishop some power play time, I think, which is nice. Okay, and Rafalski's been injured. That's another depth option. Let's just replace him. And we are going to do this last game as well. Kyrou is back, which is good. Let's get Kyrou back in, and then we'll take a look, obviously, at our player stats and team stats so far for this point in the season. I don't like that Bishop's a -2 on that top 4. Okay, so if we get him in the lineup, we'd have to move him down to the top 6 if we want to do that, just because it doesn't seem to work chemistry-wise on that top 4. But 23-8-4 to start the season. We are currently the second best team in the NHL. The Boston Bruins, who just acquired Kagerodov, are the best team in the NHL, so that's a bit scary. Only 4 regulation losses up to this point in time for them. But yeah, we're leading the Central Division by 7 points. We're in a pretty damn good spot. Let's take a look at our team stats and player stats so far, and then we'll obviously see if we need to make any adjustments in next episode. But at the moment, yeah, we are the second best team in the NHL, but we're back by 7 points, which is kind of crazy. We are currently the best offensive team in the league, so our depth scoring must be very good. Our goals against per game is actually just outside of the top 9 or top 8, something like that, 3.23, so we're still a good defensive team. Our power play has been insanely good this season, 32%. That's craziness. And our penalty kill has been very bad, though. Our penalty kill has been 74.1%, so if we wanted to address something, we could address our penalty kill, but at the same time, I think the year we won the Stanley Cup and we were one of the best teams in the NHL, we had one of the worst penalty kills. So maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not, but that's kind of interesting. Let's take a look at these player stats. See who has done what so far through 35 games. So Stankoven's on 49 points, he's been great. Luke Misa's on 37, and he's outperforming Michael Misa. That's a bit weird, considering Luke Misa's a third-line guy and power play guy, and then you have Michael Misa who's a first-line guy and power play guy. I don't understand that, but okay. Lucius on 28 points. Goldman has 9 points so far in his rookie season. Not doing the best, but he is up to a 79 so far. Hopefully doing decent on the face-off dot. Let's take a look at that. 44%. Not the best, but it is his rookie season. He'll get better from here on out for sure. Left wing side of things, Groshek's on 43 points, including 20 goals already. Philip Groshek is the man. Glad we locked him up when we did. Yeah, he's still got a lot of years left. We aren't getting much scoring from Eberle and Enroth. They aren't getting a lot of ice time, so it kind of makes sense. Eberle's missed the last 10 games as well, but both these guys haven't done a lot, which kind of is a bit weird. And Rafalski 3 points in 9 games. From a right wing standpoint, Hellenius on 34 points, Irving on 30 points, Jaquezie on 27, Wilson on 15. He isn't getting any power play time, so maybe I should try and get him back on the power play. And Holmstrom on 2 points in 1 game. That's nice. From a defensive standpoint, Kyrou on 27 points, Vandermeer on 23, Louis Vara on 10, Vernarski on 9, but a -6. And then we have Palin, who has 7 points plus 15, but Jimmy Scarlett has been very much struggling. He is a -12 through 35 games. Is it the time that we look to upgrade a younger defenseman? Or we kind of rework the defensive pairings, like move Vernarski to the top 4 somehow. But I don't think I could do that because that would knock out Palin or Kyrou down to the bottom 6 pairings. Bishop's point per game, which is nice. No power play points, but still. From a goaltending standpoint, we got Dag on a 901. We are one of the better defensive teams in the league, though, right? We're kind of decent. That's really weird. Both these goalies don't have the best of numbers. I mean, Logan Scarlett has only lost 1 game in regulation, so that's good. But I'm not really sold on both goaltenders' numbers. A 901 save percentage, like how does that compare to the rest of the league? I am curious on that. Let's go by, I guess, save percentage. Swayman's on a 929. There's a couple goalies on 919, 918s. Yeah, it's a little bit below average. There's a couple goalies on like 908 save percentages. So it seems like most goaltenders are averaging a 908 or better from starters. So yeah, our goaltending numbers need to be a bit better. For sure. I mean, like I said, we could move Dag. We could move Dag if we want to. Let me take a look at our AHL team quickly, because maybe this will make our decision easier. Wow. Stanley King's rocking a 935 save percentage. And Grant's rocking a 925. Okay, I think that makes our decision clear that we should probably move Dag and get Stanley King in. But we don't have to. We might need to look at maybe calling up Rantanen and moving out Scarlett if we want to, or somebody else could come up to the NHL on the defensive side of things. Fairchild's actually doing relatively well. He actually might make it, which is kind of nice. So Fairchild, Lannon's been pretty good. Lannon's probably going to get close. Smyshenko, and I don't know if he'll make it. Bickle's been really good too. Bickle's another one of those guys that could get called up at some point. Matsumoto has been pretty good. He's up to a 71, but only 21 years of age. Okay, looks like some of the guys are doing pretty decent down there, but yeah, I don't know if we want to make that decision or not. Because Gabriel Dag definitely hasn't been that guy this season. I've liked Scarlett's play a little bit better just because Scarlett has only lost the 1 game in regulation. I might have to make the goaltending change next episode. I'm going to curiously see what an AI would throw me for Gabriel Dag at this point, just to see if there's any offers out there, and then I'll be it for this episode at that point. But Gabriel Dag, what would he get us? No trades found with an open block? What the heck? No trades found, okay. Well, there's definitely going to be teams that are still interested in him, or we could trade him at the draft like I said, but I would really like to get Stanley King up here, because I think he's definitely deserved it based on how he's played in the AHL. Or for that matter, we could even call up Grant if we really wanted, but I don't think I would do that. How's their unsigned prospects developing? Looking decent, some of them. Okay, not too bad. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So in next episode, I don't know exactly what we're going to do. We're obviously probably going to simulate the rest of the regular season and maybe make some trades. But I'm not too sure on what we really want to bring in for Gabriel Dag. So if you guys could let me know what you think we should bring in for Dag, that would be helpful, because I honestly, at this point, we have like pretty much everything we need. We could upgrade our defense if we want to, because Scarlett has been a little bit of a liability. So we could do that, but I'm not too sure if that's the right move for this team. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.